Food and Golden Age Health, Choosing the Right Snacks. Welcome everyone to What to Eat Over 60, where we share in-depth and practical knowledge about nutrition, helping seniors live healthy, active, and vibrant lives. Have you ever wondered if those seemingly harmless snacks you enjoy before bed, or even between meals, might be subtly undermining your physical abilities? Especially after retirement, many older adults genuinely try to eat healthy. They limit processed foods, stay away from sugar, and often swap chips and cookies for what they consider to be sensible snacks like nuts. However, are all nuts truly good for seniors? The truth is, some nuts can subtly accelerate muscle loss, a condition known as sarcopenia, one tiny handful at a time. Meanwhile, others actually boost memory, circulation, and muscle tone. Our bodies lose their ability to be forgiving around age 60. To keep our muscles healthy and strong, we need more protein, more sleep, and more specific nutrients. The majority of seniors, though, are unaware of this. We don't simply lose muscle as we age. It disappears when we stop providing it, with the means to remain. In this video, I want to tell you about 7 specific nuts you should steer clear of, not because they are inherently bad, but because they can impact your heart, strength, sleep, or even medication. As a health educator, I'm writing this because I've seen firsthand how many older adults, just like you, still yearn to feel stable, refreshed, and secure in their own bodies. One by one, let's go. Also bear in mind that each of these includes a story, a lesson, and a gentle nudge to support you in reclaiming your health. Start right now. To ensure that you never miss another personalized health tip from What to Eat Over 60, I recommend hitting the bell and subscribing if you haven't already. If you found this video helpful, type 1 in the comments. Otherwise, type 0 to let me know how I can improve the material for you.
1. Cashews, the creamy culprit of weak legs and brittle bones. Cashews often enter our homes under the guise of innocent comfort. They frequently appear in upscale kitchens due to their heart-healthy reputation, delicate sweetness, and creamy texture. Beneath their appealing exterior, however, is a subtle sabotage that quietly destroys the bones supporting our bodies without making any immediate noise or discomfort. For those over 60, the balance of bone turnover changes significantly. We no longer lose bone as quickly as we build it. Furthermore, we make matters worse by including foods high in oxalates like cashews in our diet. In the digestive system, oxalates bind with calcium and prevent the absorption of this vital nutrient into the bloodstream. This can ultimately lead to weaker bones, a higher risk of fractures, and a slower rate of recovery after falls. I remember working with a sweet woman named Evelyn, 73, who was experiencing general instability and recurrent leg discomfort. Cashews, she always thought, were a better option than cookies. Although she made that exchange with the best intentions, she had no idea that the cashews she ate every night were preventing her body from maintaining the very qualities she was trying to protect. Her mornings became more consistent once she stopped eating cashews and switched to more calcium-friendly alternatives. I recall her saying, "I believed I had acted appropriately. I had no idea that food could be subtly and powerfully engineered." In addition, compared to other nuts, cashews have a relatively high carbohydrate content. Older adults adjusting their blood sugar can experience glucose spikes, especially at night, which can exacerbate inflammation and hasten muscle breakdown. Furthermore, the density of cashews can make them difficult, if not deadly, to eat for those with dry mouth issues, dentures, or swallowing problems. Even if cashews appear to be an innocuous delicacy, they may be subtly weakening your body as you age, one bite at a time. However, cashews are not the only fruit that can mislead.
2. Peanuts, cheap to buy, expensive for your joints and liver. Peanuts are everywhere, smeared on morning toast, hidden in protein bars, and smuggled into nut mixes. They are simply accessible, easy to make, and reasonably priced, making them feel like a familiar companion to many older adults. However, familiarity is not always safety. especially for an aging body, which changes and grows more sensitive over time. In fact, there are dangers associated with peanuts that are sometimes overlooked until it's too late. Peanuts are essentially legumes, meaning they grow underground and are therefore highly susceptible to mold, despite their nut-like name. Aflatoxin, a poison linked to liver damage, impaired immune function, and even cancer, is produced by this mold. The liver has a harder time getting rid of these toxins in younger bodies. However, this hidden threat becomes more critical for older individuals, particularly those who are dealing with liver strain or taking multiple medications. Marvin, a 76-year-old man I knew, took pride in his peanut habit. "It's my protein," he'd say. "It's inexpensive, it makes me feel full." However, he also reported persistent exhaustion, joint pain, and bloating that no doctor could precisely diagnose. At first, the effects were minor, with gentler mornings, and better digestion once he stopped eating peanuts. However, even his joint pain began to subside after a few months. Adding more medication is not always the solution. Sometimes it's about less hidden harm. Additionally, peanuts throw off the delicate ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acids. While omega-6 fatty acids are not harmful in nature, too much can exacerbate chronic inflammation, which is a major cause of joint discomfort, weakened muscles, and even memory loss. Peanuts are a more dangerous food than you realize when you combine that with the fact that they contain vitamin K, which can cause harmful conflicts with blood thinners. What about peanut butter? For seniors attempting to stay strong, the majority of brands are a slow-acting trap because they are high in sugar, salt, and hydrogenated oils. But just wait until you learn about the next nut, a creamy, delicious one that slowly wears away at your muscles night after night. 3. Macadamia nuts, rich in flavor, poor in muscle support. Macadamia nuts are often considered a luxury because they are so buttery, fragrant, and alluring. Gourmet recipes, wholesome snack counters, and all delicate dessert tables feature them. They are a delight for the taste and eyes. However, they can be one of the most misleading snack items for an aging body, particularly one attempting to maintain its strength. Macadamias don't appear dangerous at first. They're rich in good fats, I suppose, but if you look more closely, you'll see a troubling truth. They don't do much for your muscles. They are notably deficient in fiber and protein, two elements your body needs to create and repair muscle tissue, particularly when you sleep. Without those building blocks, the body may retreat inward and use its existing muscle to fuel essential nighttime processes. Many older adults feel weaker, less stable, or more prone to fatigue in the morning because of this gradual degradation. Next is calorie density. One of the nuts with the highest calorie content is the macadamia nut. It's simple for older adults who are less active or who are attempting to control their weight to overeat them. One small handful can provide more than 200 calories with no nutritional value. The result, undesired weight gain, puts additional strain on the joints, particularly the lower back, hips, and knees. Even worse, the majority of commercially sold macadamia nuts are roasted in processed oils and then sprinkled with salt, which exacerbates heart disease, raises blood pressure, and encourages inflammation, particularly in older adults with circulatory problems. A sweet woman named Carol, 69, used to have a small container of macadamia nuts next to her reading chair. She told me it was my prize. But over time, she had noticed a heaviness that didn't quite make sense, and her legs became tired more quickly. Her mornings began to feel lighter, and her stride more confident when she replaced them with a protein-rich snack in the evenings. So while macadamia nuts might appear to be a treat, they are actually an expensive compromise for senior citizens wanting to maintain their strength and stability. However, if macadamias subtly weaken you, the following. It poses a far more distinct risk, one connected to both your body's ability to metabolize your medicine and your muscles. 4. Pine nuts. Tiny, smooth, and beautiful, but can interfere with your medication. Tiny, smooth, and beautiful, pine nuts appear harmless, but they can interfere with your medication. They don't look like a hazard and are often added to salads, mixed with pesto, or served in elaborate dishes. However, these innocuous seeds can subtly disrupt some of the most sensitive bodily processes for older adults, particularly those who are on multiple medications. Many individuals are unaware that pinolenic acid, a substance found in pine nuts, has been shown to alter how the liver metabolizes medications. Older adults on heart rhythm medications, cholesterol-lowering statins, or blood pressure medications may find this particularly concerning. Serious side effects such as sudden blood pressure spikes, irregular heartbeats, or clotting problems can arise even from minor changes in how your liver metabolizes these medications. Furthermore, these changes frequently go undetected until actual harm has begun, in contrast to obvious allergic reactions. In addition to pharmacological interactions, pine nuts have been connected to pine mouth, a strange and extremely unpleasant ailment. Although it is not harmful, it is annoying because it gives you a bitter metallic aftertaste that lasts for days or even weeks. This can lead to unintentional weight loss and deficiencies in older adults who are struggling with reduced appetite, making muscle maintenance even more difficult. And then there's the fat issue. Pine nuts are high in polyunsaturated fats which oxidize quickly, even though they also contain beneficial lipids. These fats can produce chemicals that age brain cells, exacerbate joint problems, and harm arteries if they are even slightly old or kept improperly. A dangerous combination for everyone, but especially for the elderly. Not to mention the obvious truth that pine nuts, due to their small size and smooth shape, can choke anyone with dental problems, dry mouth, or poor swallowing reflexes. A common but frequently unacknowledged issue as we age. Although they are small, the dangers are not. Pine nuts can upset the aging body in numerous ways that few would suspect, especially for a body that relies on consistent routines and dependable medication. 5. Apricot kernels and bitter almonds, toxic at small doses. Bitter almonds are not found in every pantry, but they frequently appear under false labels. Raw almonds, apricot kernels, or natural detox seeds are offered for sale online or in health food stores with audacious claims. However, beneath those innocuous labels is a substance known as amygdalin, which when digested turns into cyanide and is a major hazard, especially for older individuals. Cyanide. The term doesn't seem appropriate for a discussion about food, let alone things labeled as natural. However, that's the truth about bitter almonds. Dizziness, nausea, confusion, and worse can result from eating as few as 4 or 5 raw bitter almonds. Consuming more than 10 can result in severe poisoning that requires immediate medical attention. Furthermore, our body's ability to process toxins like this diminishes with age, making even smaller doses more harmful. I remember a couple in their 70s, Roy and Marion, who started including apricot kernels in their diet after reading about its supposed anti-cancer properties online. Before long, Marion began to experience migraines, abdominal pain, and an odd sensation of being out of breath. They believed it was the flu or perhaps a medication side effect. No, it wasn't. Later, her blood tests revealed mild cyanide toxicity. In a matter of days, a single adjustment, eliminating the kernels, brought relief. Bitter almonds and their imitations are problematic because they are considered beneficial. They appeal to our need for cleansing and protection, to age gracefully, and to avoid harsh medication. However, true health does not come from hidden toxins disguised as health terms, particularly when your body is already gracefully aging. Unlike other nuts, these can harm you immediately rather than eroding your strength gradually. It's a toxic shock to a system that has become more vulnerable with age. There is no progressive degradation or gradual depletion. Bitter almonds are harmful, but they are not the most detrimental. 6. Salted mixed nuts, the hidden enemy in every pantry. A container of mixed nuts has a reassuring quality. It's frequently shared with friends, family, or when watching an old movie on a quiet evening. It's ready to serve as a quick snack between meals and is kept on the kitchen counter. It seems like a sensible, even healthy decision for many older adults. Nuts are better than chips after all. However, upon closer inspection, especially of salted mixed nuts, you might discover that Something that appears harmless is actually subtly depleting your energy. More sodium is added to these mixes than most people realize, and they are frequently processed and extensively roasted in poor quality oils. The consequences are minor, but significant for senior citizens. Excessive salt consumption causes circulation problems, high blood pressure, and water retention, all of which are already common as people age. Is your mind foggy in the mornings? Are your ankles swollen, or is your sleep restless? It's not always age. It's the salt content of your snack. The fact that cashews and peanuts, which we have already addressed, offer little muscle health support, and may even accelerate bone loss and inflammation, are prevalent in many mixed nut blends is even more alarming. Rarely do these mixes contain healthier nuts, such as pistachios, walnuts, or skin-on almonds. The nutrients your aging body truly needs to repair and remain strong are absent, leaving you with a mixture of calories, salt, and inflammatory fats. I once met Howard, 81, who proudly told me that years ago he had traded cookies for nuts. When Niti Dharm, I asked what kind, he said, astonished. He grinned. Just the classic mix. However, his expression changed when we read the label together and saw that hydrogenated oils included over 200 milliliters of sodium per serving. He gently replied, I thought I was doing better. The good news is that he was doing better, since not all nuts are created equal, and sometimes combinations can mislead us. He just needed to take one step further and choose smarter nutritional sources. But just wait until you discover a nut that is praised for its nutrition, but also dangerously easy to overeat, potentially altering your body's balance with just a few too many bites. This is particularly important if that salty mix was subtly depleting your strength. 7. Brazil nuts, a surprising source of selenium that can backfire. At first glance, Brazil nuts appear to be a nutritional gem, large, robust, and packed with selenium, a mineral essential for immunity, thyroid function, and even muscle maintenance. That seems like a benefit for seniors looking to preserve their energy and maintain their wits. However, in practice, there is a fine line separating the beneficial and harmful effects of Brazil nuts, especially for older individuals whose systems are more vulnerable to overconsumption. Selenium is one of the trace minerals. Trace indicates that the body needs a very small amount. Your entire daily requirement and often more can be found in just one Brazil nut. So you can get 5, 6, or even 10 times the safe limit when you consume a handful, much as most people might do without realizing it. The body can adapt at a younger age. However, selenium overload becomes a serious concern after age 60, when metabolism slows and organs like the liver and kidneys process nutrients less efficiently. The consequences are alarming, although they are not frequently immediately noticeable. Irritability, joint discomfort, fatigue, thinning hair, stomach difficulties, and even neurological problems. I remember speaking with John, a 75-year-old Vietnam veteran who had read about the health benefits of Brazil nuts and began incorporating them into his diet. He felt exhausted and achy within a few weeks, but he couldn't identify why. His blood tests showed selenium levels that were far higher than normal. The symptoms subsided when he reduced his consumption to just one nut every few days. He informed me, I never thought too much of a good thing could do that. Brazil nuts are high in saturated fat in addition to selenium. Even if it is natural, it still adds up, especially if you are taking care of heart or cholesterol issues. The risk is increased by their density, the ease of overconsumption, and frequent thoughtless consumption. The harsh reality is that the dosage is the poison. Also, if the balance is off, even seemingly healthy foods can backfire. Therefore, while Brazil nuts can contribute to good health, they should be respected and used sparingly, something that isn't frequently stated on flashy health blogs or on labels from the supermarket. 8. The foods I eat every day to maintain my strength, mental clarity, and independence. After 60, now that you know the 7 nuts I strictly avoid, here's what I consume daily to help maintain strong mornings, protect my muscles, and improve my memory. Building strength as we age is not about doing more. I've discovered that over the years. It all comes down to consistently doing the right things. Expensive supplements, complex diets, and tiring regimens are not necessary. All you have to do is provide your body with the kind of consistent, gentle nourishment it desperately needs, especially during the quiet hours when your brain and muscles are resting and rebuilding. Here's what I personally use on a daily basis to help keep my heart healthy, my muscles safe, and my mind and body balanced as I become older. 9. Low-fat cottage cheese. Excellent casein protein source. I consume a small bowl of low-fat cottage cheese every evening about an hour before bed. It's effective, but it's neither current nor appealing. The unique protein found in cottage cheese is called casein, which breaks down gradually and fuels your muscles all night long. While you sleep, it acts as a gentle trickle of support. This stops your body from using muscle as fuel, which is a condition many people have after age 60. 10. Pumpkin seeds. Magnesium and tryptophan for sound sleep and strong muscles. A teaspoon of pumpkin seeds is something else I add. Magnesium, which is abundant in them, promotes muscle relaxation and helps ward off those dreadful leg cramps at night. Furthermore, tryptophan, an amino acid found in pumpkin seeds, increases the body's natural synthesis of melatonin, promoting deeper, more restful sleep. Your body performs its most vital healing functions at that time. 11. Kiwi fruit. Natural melatonin and antioxidants. I'll peel and eat 2 ripe kiwi fruit on some nights, especially when I'm feeling a little stiff or run down. They also contain natural melatonin and are high in antioxidants. They are, in my experience, a gentle approach to calming my joints and relaxing my mind before bed. 12. Walnuts. Boosting brain function and reducing inflammation. Finally, I like to have a few walnuts with my breakfast each morning. They contain ALA, a plant-based omega-3 that works to reduce inflammation and promote brain function. Especially on days when I walk longer or tend to my garden, they help me feel agile, grounded, and focused. These foods are not magic. These are simple, workable decisions that don't overwhelm me and meet me where I am at this stage of life. And I perceive that when I am reliable, they increase vitality, decrease pain, improve mental clarity, and improve balance. Start making changes today. Start humbly if you are over 60 and want to make a subtle but significant change in your health. If you want, I can guide you in creating your own basic sleep ritual for healing and strength, beginning with what you eat before bed. In conclusion, small decisions lead to better tomorrows. Fading away does not equate to aging. It calls for gradual adjustments, made sensibly and thoughtfully. Your strength is the truth. The nuts that can gradually weaken your strength and those that can strengthen it have now been pointed out to you. You now know that even something as basic as a handful of pumpkin seeds or a spoonful of cottage cheese can assist your body's natural ability to heal, repair, and regenerate. There is no need to make all of the changes at once. You are not required to have a complicated diet or perfect discipline. All you have to do is start with one deliberate choice at a time. What can I give my body tonight as I get ready for bed to help it wake up stronger tomorrow? While there is still time, it is not for your life, your legs, or your memory. Also, keep in mind that the strongest foundations are created by the smallest rituals performed with care. The purpose of these lectures is to encourage you to live your most complete and authentic life. I'm excited to hear from you right now. Take a moment to think and then share one item you learned that you would like to use in your own life on this path of accepting these realities. Let us help one another. Please leave a comment if you like this video. Feel free to leave a comment with a 0 if you don't. Your feedback is important to us. For more videos like this, remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, What to Eat Over 60. I appreciate you watching, and I hope you enjoy your life as you see fit.